You ever think of that too? When you get those assholes that say we're put on earth to do some things and this and that, and when you've done what you've been put on earth to do is when you go. And I'm thinking, fuck, well, I've had a good life. I've done this. I accomplished that in bodybuilding. I won championship racing. Maybe I've done what I put here to do.
I created Species Nutrition with one mission in mind: to provide bodybuilders and serious athletes with no-nonsense supplements that work. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Iron Therapy. I'm Dave Palumbo, joined as always by our RX Muscle staff, psychotherapist Leslie Timble, and our very needy patient today, Lee Priest. What's up?
Yeah, the amount of commercials there before the show started, it's like all those commercials getting paid for, the tips coming in, you're fucking rolling in the money.
Yeah. You know, I was thinking about doing this live just to get some tips today out of you, but I figure
it only upset us when we see the cash flow rolling in and not coming back to us.
So I figured with Leslie here, I didn't want to get into tips. And
well, as long as you're buying more snakes with it, Dave, we appreciate it. Thank you.
That's right.
Before we get going, on my whirlwind trip coming home, I got to thank Australian Customs for making me feel like a criminal once more coming home.
Did they strip search you?
Oh, we was going to get to that probably. I'm waiting for the bags, and I see this girl approaching over the shoulder. Oh, where you been? United States. Purpose of your trip? Oh, I just went to a gym and see some friends and that. Oh, you know people over there? Yes, I lived there for 20 years. Oh. So when we finally get down there, she pulls me aside, put your bags up here. Just my carry-on alone, my little backpack, 20 minutes going through my backpack.
Oh, my God.
What it is. It says ibuprofen. Oh. What are these? They're like lactose pills for that. Pulls them out. I mean, everyone. Why do you have so many tablets? And that? I said, well, they're multivitamins, and they're them ones, and they're them ones. And then she found a packet of, I had to kratom from pig. What's this? I said, that's just like stuff before the gym, and that doesn't have THC in it, does it? I said, no. So she hands it to another guy. Now he's got it. He's got his phone. He's looking at it, trying to look it up. I mean, fuck, we're going to be here forever. Finally. Then I got this. I can show you in a minute. Had the flag. The flag's all folded up like, military, how they folded up in the triangle. Right. She goes, can I undo this? I said, no. I said, how are you going to do it back up? I said, you can x-ray it if you want. Yeah. Oh, so she puts it down. Finally, a guy comes over. Hey, aren't you that famous? I said, yes, criminal. Yes, I'm that famous criminal. So we got talking and stuff, and then he's like, oh, you're right, Lee, you can go. And the girl's like, but I haven't x-rayed that in his bag. And he just turns to her and goes, I said he can go. Give his stuff back to him. And off I went. But when I was there, I had this here. Like, she goes, what's in this box? I said, it was a gift from the government. So she's like, oh, the government. So, but what it was, like, this is the This is the flag. Look, the American flag.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's nice.
All folded up neatly, and it came with this. Oh, look at this. And I have to put this near where Bush made me honorary Texan. Look at that.
And that says, Texas likes you, Lee. That's all. That's
the Senate of the state of Texas extending sincere appreciation to Lee Priest. This flag was flown at the Capitol, Texas Capitol, on October 6, 2023, in appreciation of your willingness to use your celebrity status and notoriety to events and issues that are important to the great state of Texas.
That's awesome.
Nice.
So that was the flag that flew over the Capitol that day. They sent it to me.
I wonder why your connection is a little staggered today. You're a little slow.
I am slow.
Yeah, the funny thing is, when you go through customs in Australia, and every time I've ever gone there, they always they're like, go over there, follow this line. Usually they say, and go over there, which means you're going to get searched, secondary search. They love to take stuff, especially if they think you're a bodybuilder. They love to stop you. Beth was warned me years ago. When I went for the first time, she's like, "I'm telling you, they're going to stop you. Don't bring anything." I said, "I wouldn't bring anything anyway." She's like, "But I'm just warning you. Don't think it's something like weird. Don't get scared. They're going to stop you." She's like, "There's no doubt. They stop me every time."
Even food type things. What's this food? What's that food? Like this. Like, oh.
Yeah, they're more.
I did have some guy
bringing food back, right? You can't bring any food back to
no.
Australia.
Well, guy did make some Rice Krispie treats with THC in them that I had on me.
Oh, you? Why would you bring those back with you?
Because they look like Rice Krispie treats, and she pulled them out like this. She goes, "What are these?" I said, "I don't eat the plain food." I said, "They're Rice Krispie treats I make with protein powder to eat on the plane." She's like, "Oh, okay."
You're lucky that the drug sniffing dogs didn't get a hold of those, or you would have been in prison right now. You're crazy.
Yeah.
Didn't someone tell you that?
They're made from the oil. You couldn't smell it.
I think you can smell it, actually.
You can't, because guy told me he's traveled with them before, and the dogs don't smell it.
All right. I'm glad that you researched it and at least asked some questions. Guy is a well-traveled. I know he's.
I actually had dogs once when I was traveling. When I think I must have went to the States and somewhere else, and I put my bag down. Here comes the beagle. I'm like, "Oh, cute dog." Yeah. Fucking sits right down beside my fucking bag.
Oh no!
Everyone. That's when they used to make you line up and put your bags on the ground. Right. As soon as the dog sat down in front of me, everyone just goes. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm the bad guy, covered in tattoos."
Yeah.
What it was, I had my cooler, had my cooler there that had like all the chicken and stuff in it. I said, "I think your dog's hungry. You need to feed it." He was just sniffing the cooler.
Yeah, I would be a little nervous bringing those back. I'd be nervous with the kratom. You're lucky they didn't stop you with the kratom. That could have been a problem too.
Yeah. But the thing was, he even looked online at that. He's going through the thing online, and he's like, "No."
Maybe kratom isn't illegal in Australia, so you might have gotten lucky.
Well, he sent me some before, and even when I've got it, you get that little notification. This was opened by customs, blah, blah, and
they didn't take it. Okay, well maybe it's legal.
No. Well, if you look it up, though, probably if they Google, it's like coffee extract and all that sort of thing. So it probably doesn't register on any list.
Right. Well, you know what it is? It's not illegal. So if with Australia, they have so many weird. Yeah. You guys have like all these like laws over there that you can't sell melatonin over there. They'll arrest you for it.
No, you have to get a prescription, like the proper melatonin.
All right, now one of the things. So what we're getting at, Lee was in the United States, obviously, for his appearance at the Apollon Gym show, or Apollon Gym seminar, I should say. And then you went to Lancaster, Pennsylvania, my old stomping grounds for college. And what I found out from Valentino was that Lee has a lot of trouble sleeping when he's on the road. Explain what the problem is.
Well, I think it was just, firstly, when you get there, it's like after coming from Australia, and you look at the thing where it says duration of travel time, where it's like 1 day, 5 hours, 29 minutes. Like, oh, shit. But that's just with the traveling time. But then, you got the day I was up here leading up to it, then going to the airport. So it's almost covered on 2 days. And, without sleep, it's like, I don't even get headaches. But the third day, like those up the back of the neck here was that tight from tension and fucking, I'm like, ugh. And then driving to Pennsylvania and didn't get back that night. So not really eating, and then not really sleeping, and then now the night where I was good for a couple of nights, but then you know what settled off, I think, where a bit of anxiety come in. I blame Greg and Jimmy and everyone. When they said goodbye to me out the front of the gym and they were leaving, I'm like, friends are leaving, and then I'm going to be alone and all shit. So I was like, I actually went to sleep, but then when I woke up, it was almost like, you know, you're in a chair like this. You ever been in a chair and you go to fall back and you're like, it was like that adrenaline. And once I woke up, then the skin was clammy. And then I'm like, oh, here we go, hotel room. How many famous people, not that I'm famous, die in hotel rooms by himself? This is it. But the thing was, 3 nights before, when I was laying on the bed, I heard this bang, bang. I'm thinking, oh, some poor guy out in the hallway's drunk. He can't get in. And it kept going. I'm thinking, I got to have a look. I look out. There's 5 policemen, 1 female officer, and they got the rammer, and they're ramming the door. Boom, boom.
In the hotel, they're ramming the door?
Yeah. Boom. And then they got the thing in trying to pry it. I'm thinking, I learned one thing. Those fucking little locks on the hotel room doors are pretty strong.
You would think the hotel would have would have a master lock key or a master key to get
but
in.
you know how you put that little latch thing over the silver thing?
Oh, okay.
I think they had that on. I'm thinking that's pretty strong. So they finally get in. I find out some person, they're doing a wellness check, OD'd in there.
Oh,
so
shit.
when I had my anxiety attack 3 nights later, I'm thinking, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take that lock off because I've seen how strong it is just in case they need to get into my room. And then I'm like, I just knelt on the floor. And I think, no, hold on. I remember, sadly, Sean Roden went into the room and he knelt by the bed, and that's where it ended. So I got off the floor. I said, I'm not kneeling by the bed. That's not how I'm going. So I just got into the hotel for you, talking to Greg for 3 or 4 hours.
How you decided that you were going to, because someone OD'd in the room next to you, that you were going to OD too, and you had to leave the door open and you had to talk to Greg for 4 hours.
I wasn't going to OD. I just figured if something happened to me, they wouldn't be able to get in because I saw how hard that lock is to bust open.
So Leslie, what he basically has is he has a lot of anxiety when he travels because he's not in his normal environment, and he literally had Greg on the phone for 4 hours, whispering to him. So while he was trying
talk me down off the ledge.
And then he also had his wife on FaceTime, right? For how many hours?
That's how I fell asleep. But that was the next night, because the next night was worse. Because, you know, once you've had one bad panicky anxiety attack, the next night, as it's getting dark, I'm like, oh, it's going to fucking happen again. It's going to happen. So I'm talking myself into it happening. And it did. I fell asleep, then woke up, and it was on. I'm like, who can I call now? Oh, I'll call Greg again. And then I'm thinking that, and then that bitch at the counter, I think, you know, she just got upset because normally the night staff probably go out the back room and take a nap. But I wanted a Gatorade, so twice I had to go to Gatorade. She had to come out and bring it up to the room. Then she's like, you need to go to your room. I said, excuse me? She goes, you need to go to your room. I said, you're not my mother. I said, what am I doing? She goes, you just can't walk around the lobby here. And I said, I'm walking here, and I'm just sitting down.
What time was it, Greg? I mean,
this was probably 2 a.m.
Oh, wow.
2 a.m.
Yeah. So
and I said, why don't you call the police and just tell them a hotel guest is sitting in the lobby, and then get an ambulance too. You might as well bring them along and stuff. So I eventually just went back to the room. But then when I got in the room, I'm like, that fucking bitch. And now I'm fucking more. And so I called my wife, and she had the dogs with her. So I just started talking to her and looking at the dogs, focused on that. Then I fell asleep.
Les?
So, Lee, is it fair to say you have anxiety in general, even outside of traveling?
No. The thing was, I had that bad anxiety probably a year and a half ago, where I had it for almost a week, where it was almost like I had to get out of the house. I had to do whatever. Then my doctor friend just said, take 2 Phenergan. That's probably like Benadryl, you know, just the antihistamine. And that sort of got rid of all the feeling, and I haven't had it since then. That's why when it hit me there, I'm like, oh, fuck. And, you know, sometimes too, being alone or can't get your mind off it, because when it happened at home towards the end, I said, even something as simple as having my cat sit on me and I'm patting the cat, listening to the cat purr, you know, focus your mind somewhere else. But when you're alone in the hotel room thinking, this is where Heath Ledger and fucking all famous people die alone in hotel rooms, I just really started fucking stirring it up more. So, yeah, I just made it worse. And even in your mind, it's like, you know, it's in your head. And that's why I was talking to Greg. I kept my mind off it, and then it would go away, but then it would come back almost like a like I said, almost like that adrenaline rush where someone goes boom and you get that, but it won't go away. It just feels like that. And the clamminess. And then again, once the clamminess starts and you get a bit of tightness here, that's my fucking heart now, isn't it? But then I'm thinking, no, Lee, before you came to America, they did all the tests, your heart's fine. Then the other side of the head says, maybe they missed something. Maybe they didn't. Dear. That's when it's hard. So having a strong mind's good, but it can be bad too, because it's hard to convince myself that maybe it's not when the other half's thinking, maybe it is.
So
I can't trick myself is what I'm trying to say. I can't trick my mind into...
Well, it's not necessarily tricking your mind. It's using facts. So it's just saying, well, have I ever felt in a position where I thought worst case scenarios and I lived through it? So that's also a fact. So it's not to say that, you know, bad things can't happen, but what's the likelihood? And I think what happens to our brain is that it escalates. A lot of things escalate and we go down what I call as the rabbit hole.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lead up of a high of being with friends, having a good time,
Mm-hmm.
you know, being with fans, like all that was very, very positive. And then when it was time to be at the end of the trip and everyone went home, then it's almost a feeling of abandonment. It's kind of the after effect. You know, it's like, you know, when people, let's say after the Olympia, it's kind of a letdown for a lot of people and they can go into a bit of a depression, you know. So in a way, you kind of went through post, not show blues, but you went through kind of like a post vacation, enjoying your time, like with friends and doing this stuff blues, but it turned into anxiety because there's a fine line between depression and anxiety and they can be intertwined. So I think it was a lead up of a bunch of things, not to mention, I think you're a creature of habit as I am too.
I am, yeah.
So,
Very
and
much
there's nothing wrong with having rituals. I mean, Dave, I know you have a bunch of rituals. I know I have rituals.
But I don't get anxiety if I can't do them. He does. He definitely does.
Okay.
Well, that too, because like I said, with my wife being at home too, you know, we've got the dogs and the cats and she's got to work those hours. And generally I'm at home back and forth. So the animals are taken care of. I start thinking about, they probably never would. I'm thinking, say, if the dogs get out while she's at work and they do something. So it's like, you know, generally when I'm here and I've got that taken care of, thinking now she's got to do all that by herself. So then that puts a bit of, not added stress, but, you know, just puts my mind at, I hope everything's okay at home because I'm not there, because when she gets home from work, then she's got to do all that work that I normally do. So yeah, I think it's a lead up to that. But I said the main thing was, though, that I felt it almost instant, as you said, having the good fun with friends, and plus not having good sleep the night before and that. But when I'm around friends and that, it doesn't matter. You're not really thinking about that. But yeah, just saying goodbye and that, I'm thinking, fuck, I might not see him again for a while. I wonder when I'm going to come back. Because like I said, at home here, I have acquaintances, like people, like I said, if I go to car shows with, but I don't have good friends like, you know, like the Jimmy type or Greg type where you can hang out, laugh, train with, because I just train by myself and that. So I don't really, like if I go out now for a drive, we go by myself, have coffee by myself. You know, I might have a friend, if I say meet you for coffee, we just chit chat. But like I said, I don't have good friends that actually come over to the house and hang out and that sort of thing. So when I was with them, it was like, you know, it almost felt like when I was back in the 90s, you know, hanging out at Gold's, your friends are there, you're at the gym, in the gym, a Poland gym there. I was talking to a lot of older members and getting on great. They're like, oh, you're funny, Lee. And it's just, and then I'm thinking, fuck, I'm just going to go home to no friends, back to the thing, back to the gym. And then I'm thinking, I wonder when I'll come back. But luckily, I will be back in March, people. I'll be back for the Arnold Classic with a Poland gym. And then I'll be going to the gym for a week after that. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But now I'm already thinking too, I got 20th of November, I'm leaving to go to Italy for the Lee Priest show in Italy for 5 days, and then I got to go to Spain. I'm already thinking about, fuck, another trip I got to go away for. And then, but up until then, next weekend, not this weekend, next weekend, I got to go away for 3 days in South Australia to film some of this new TV show. And then 3 days before I leave for Italy, I got to go to Broken Hill, a place out middle of New South Wales where I live, to film the TV show. I'm thinking, I've got all this shit to do before I leave. That's going to mess into my travel. And I'm already thinking, fuck, it's going to be a good one this trip.
Lee's poor wife, she's going to be on FaceTime with him for like hours at night so he can sleep.
She already went to the doctors the other day to get her blood work done and that antidepressants.
Greg said that
you see who I'm married to?
Greg said that Lee is very high maintenance. He said, he goes,
I'm not high maintenance. I just like things clean. Hey, when I got to Greg's house, I couldn't believe it. When I walked in, I'm like, because the first time he showed his house, you couldn't see the floor or anything. No. I'm thinking, the floor's clean, the rug's
immaculate.
Clean.
No, Greg's immaculate with the cleaning. Yeah, it's just, he's got a lot of clutter, but he cleans. He's very.
That's why when I showed the street, everybody's house was beautiful. Not one lawn ornament. Then you get Greg's place, and it looks like Stanford and Son.
Greg's a collector of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's very clean and everything like that. He's
I'm borderline on that hoarder show, not collector.
So look, Les, you hear this? You hear what's going on here? He's already got anxiety. He hasn't even left for the next trips already. He's already building up like anxiety. He's going to have an anxiety attack before he leaves.
Don't talk about it, Dave. You're making me get anxiety.
We're trying to do therapy here with you so that you can work through this, so you don't have to have anxiety anymore. What should he do, Leslie?
Maybe I shouldn't drink caffeine.
Well, that's part of it, and also, especially moderate the caffeine and the alcohol late at night or any kind of intense.
I don't do alcohol, so I'm lucky there. I don't do that.
But anything kind of like I would say have a good pre bedtime routine and start that now. What do you do before you get ready for bed? Or
go to bed 8 o'clock, Leslie.
What's that?
Excuse me, I was in bed at 7. I was in bed at 7.
Excuse me.
7.
As soon as he's done with his last meal and all his rituals, he has to go to sleep because he can't stay awake.
I do dinner about 4 o'clock, and then after dinner, between 4 and 7, I have snacks like a bowl of ice cream, some chips, and then I'm watching TV.
He's 12 years
old. An hour
old.
Before bed, I have like half a Rice Krispie treat, so the THC kicks in and I get really floaty. But even then, if I have too much Rice Krispie treat, I think I'm going to die because I get that relaxed. I'll be watching TV and I'm like, oh, fuck, did I forget to breathe? I'm that relaxed. I'm going to stop breathing now. Maybe I took too much Rice Krispie. I'm too relaxed.
See, I don't think drugs are good for him, Leslie, because he can't handle them. He starts getting thoughts get all conjoined.
I've never had addictive personality. Like I said, when I've done the coke before, I've never had to be like, oh, I need to do coke again, or when I've drank once or twice and got a bit drunk, I'm like, this is shit. So I've never had an addictive personality. So, but for the sleeping, I might have to, like I said, get the proper melatonin from the chemist. Actually, my friend got me, they've been pretty good from a compound chemist, magnesium. It's been pretty good.
Yeah, you got melatonin. When you travel internationally like that, you got to use melatonin because it resets your biological clock. Because when you leave Australia and you go to New Jersey, your body thinks it's still in Australia. So of course you're gonna have trouble sleeping. So if you take melatonin when you go to bed in Jersey, it resets that clock in your brain to now this is nighttime. And then when you go back to Australia, you do it again to reset it back to Australia.
Well, my clock didn't get reset till I got home.
No, it got reset the day you left. And so when you got back to Australia.
Oh, that's right, because I checked out of the hotel. I went to Guy's house. Guy was a lifesaver.
Right.
Guy cooked some beautiful steak meals on the barbecue, but he had his dogs there, Storm and Tank and that. And I laid on the floor, and his dog, Storm, loved me. She's right beside me and falling asleep. So I said having the dogs was comforting. Yeah. And then he pulled out the Rice Krispie treats, and that helped too. So
how clean is Guy's house? I bet you Guy's house is the cleanest of all. Right?
Spotless, yep.
When you go to Guy's house, you probably think that your place is a pigsty that you live in, right? Because he's so clean.
Mine's the same. It was exactly the same. So
it is.
I knew every time I went to the bathroom and washed my hands and that, then I used the towel to wipe the sink out. So I figured I'm not having him do a YouTube clip on me saying I had Lee Priest stay over when he left a drop of water on the fucking floor or something. So I made sure I cleaned everything.
Now didn't you have to cancel your flight originally because you were so stressed out?
Yeah. Well, the thing was, because I had those 2 nights of anxiety, so I didn't sleep those 2 nights. And then the next day I was meant to be flying home. I'm thinking, there's no way I'm going to get on a plane, because I had all the tension too. Guy sent me to his chiropractor muscle guy, and he did some stuff, and that really helped, got rid of all the tension. Yeah, but I'm thinking I can't sit on a plane for another 24 hours with no sleep feeling like this. A plane went down. Somebody opened the fucking door midair and I gotta get out.
He literally he could not get on the plane. See, I would have been like, great, 24 hours. I'm going to sleep for 24 hours now.
Well, I can't sleep on planes, even if I take
know you can't because
pills.
you have anxiety. That's why.
But my friend gave me sleeping pills once for the plane, and
it
this
doesn't work
me.
on you.
I was just like this. And the thing was, now your brain wants to sleep. My eyes are stinging, but I can't sleep. I'm thinking, oh, these are fucking great. So I'm sitting there like this.
Well, why
like
can't you sleep on the plane? It's quiet. They turn the lights out.
No, because I'm just one of those people, if I'm not comfortable, like sitting up, if I'm not comfortable, I can't sleep. I got to be comfortable before I can sleep.
God. You should be able to fall asleep anywhere. You know, you're 51 years old now.
No, I'm like fucking SAS Green Beret. I'm ready to go, Dave. I don't fucking sleep.
I think what the real reason is, and Leslie, you could tell me if you think I'm right or wrong. I think when he gets on that plane, he has even more anxiety because he's afraid the plane's going to crash. He doesn't have control of what's going on. It doesn't
bother me. I thought about that. I thought, if the plane crashes, I thought every scenario where I sit will just be smushed into the ground and be all ripped apart or fucking whatever. But you know what I thought? That from watching the movies, I said, the one thing that's going to piss me off is every cunt on the plane screaming on the fucking way down. I'd be like, shut the fuck up. Just take it. We're dead, all right? We're fucking dead. Screaming ain't going to help. Suck it up. Hold hands. Pray to God, whoever you're fucking going to pray to. But we're fucking going down, and that's it. I was just checking the seatbelt was done up.
The problem is that the therapist is not supposed to be laughing at the patient's jokes.
The question is,
can he actually be helped? Can he be helped?
The question is, when this is over, who's Leslie got a call to talk to after speaking to me?
Lee, I would love to sit down and talk with you for a long time. I think it would be a conversation.
You'll be coming out the room like this.
You're getting highlights. You're not really getting the full gist of what's going on here.
Yeah, I mean, what you were saying earlier, though, Dave, is right. I mean, and Lee, you were mentioning this too, that you're already thinking about the upcoming travel that you've got, already starting to get to a little bit. You're thinking worst case scenarios. Okay, so I'm not saying that can't happen, but do you ever think, hey, maybe I'll have a trip where nothing?
Well, one of those I like. Once I get there, I'm fine, because once I get there, I know I'll have a good time with the fans and that. It's just that lead up, like looking at my bag sitting over there now. I'm thinking, a day or two before, I got to pack that, and then I got to go to the airport, wait at the airport. It's all that shit leading up to it and the flight. If I could get a teleportation machine and just be beamed over there, I'd be happy. But it's everything leading up to it. It's all that. Like,
what the funny thing is, Lee? All the stuff you hate about travel, that's the stuff I like about travel. I'm like,
because you're a fucking psychopath.
No one can get to me. I'm just going to be on an airplane. I'm going to be left alone. I can just sleep, watch a movie. No one bothers me.
Because you're thinking no matter, even if I'm flying,
no one's bothering me.
Those tips are rolling in on YouTube. I'm making money while I'm just flying in the air.
The part I'm stressed out about is once I get there, I'm like, oh, now I got to entertain all these people. I got to talk to people.
See, I like that.
We're the exact opposite. Yeah. I'm all like about going to the Olympia. I'm like, oh, I got to go to the Olympia now. I got to actually talk to people, and I got to work. I want to just be left alone.
Maybe like lead a seminar's over. I'd be like, no, you can't leave. I've got to keep talking to everyone. I don't want to sleep tonight. Everyone, come back to my hotel room.
Yeah. If I was with Lee doing the seminar, I'd be like, all right, Lee, I'm going to my hotel to relax now. You'd be like, no, I'm going to come over too. You go, we'll watch TV together. I'm like, no, I want to just be left alone. You were like, no, I really want to hang out with you, Dave.
Lee gets a lot of comfort from being a social bunny. I mean, he really thrives. He likes his own time. But Lee, you thrive being around people.
I think he misses being in the United States, Leslie. That's what I really think.
Well, because when I go back there, I sometimes get like
all your friends are here. All your friends are here. You said it yourself.
And it's weird though, because I love seeing pictures. Like I follow Rich Minter, Rich from Golds and that.
Yeah, I know Rich very well.
And like even when I see he post pictures all the time, it's like good to see because he's in Golds. But then it's like I get that, I remember that. But then it's like almost depressing too, because you remember all the good times being there and how times have changed and you're not there. And like you can just see one picture like near that mirror. I remember it. I was down there with that Tom Platz thing, and then Tom Platz and I did this exercise in the other. Like all those things start coming back. So it's like a good thing sometimes, but then it's a bad thing because then some of the people aren't there anymore. They've passed on. So yes,
it's like when I look at pictures of my son when he was like 6 months old, and I see I was holding him or doing something fun with him, and now I look at him, he's like 7, and he's like, he wants to play video games now. He doesn't want to hang out with daddy. You know what I mean? So it's like I get teared up sometimes. I look at these pictures because I know you can never go back to that moment again. You know? And so that's, I think, the way you're feeling.
But you can create new memories. So Lee, I don't know how, you guys would feel about moving to the States one day, but you can create new memories with a whole bunch of your American friends.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm trying to do now, because with a pole on gym, I'm going to be doing stuff with them more. So maybe I'll be coming at least 2 or 3 times a year now. So maybe every 3 or 4 months I'll be over, which would be good. Because generally, like I said, the friends I have there is different to the ones I hear, compared to friends and acquaintances and people we just hang out with. So it'll be good to be back over there because, as soon as Jimmy and I get together, we just start laughing and carry on. And then with Greg and, even Guy and stuff like that, it just feels like, when you just feel like you're around people who you should be around, or it's like or you're with those people you haven't seen for years, but when you're with them, it seems like you're just there yesterday type thing. So I do miss that type of thing. So, and I miss too, like I said, going to the gym, doing seminars, talking to people. And I was actually amazed, and people were amazed too. Well, Guy was amazed, and people are amazed that I have a lot of fans who are even at the seminar, 18, 19, like hundreds of them. I'm thinking, you kids weren't even fucking born probably when I retired or did my last show. But then we go into a Starbucks with Guy and this guy sitting there like a big, almost like a large man. Looks like he's never been to a gym, on his computer at Starbucks like everybody. He looks up. My God, it's Lee Priest. I was just watching you on me. And Guy looks at me and goes, how the fuck would he know who you are?
I was just mad that he didn't know who he was.
My wife says the same thing. Well, even when I was with John Snyder from the Dukes of Hazzard, we would go places and he'd be like, it's amazing that a lot of the people who are your fans, he goes, I don't think they've ever been into a gym or trained, but they know who you are. I said, I'm one of those people that just transcends generations and lifestyles.
Well, because you've stayed relevant. That's why, you're still in the public eye, just like I am. I don't think not that many people remember me from when I competed, but they know me as the guy who does interviews or does, TV programs.
Just know me, and I had so many. They just know me as the guy that says, because even at the seminar, some of those 18-year-olds, we take the photo, thumbs up, and that. Now, Lee, can we do a photo like this? Oh, can you do a video for my friend Mark? Yeah, call Mark and say he's a pussy for not training hard. You know how many requests I get for videos? Hey, Mark, you're not training hard.
I think you exceeded the C word limits for the show already.
Have I?
All right, so
it's okay.
Getting back to
I'm in therapy, Dave. I'm in therapy.
That's who you are in therapy. Getting back to his problem, Leslie. He does have a problem with traveling, and he does get depressed, and he has trouble sleeping. And there's got to be a way to, because he's going to be doing a lot of traveling, obviously, by his own admission. What he just said, we got to fix him. What could you do? What tools can you give him to help deal with this?
So apart from the melatonin, especially if you happen to know which time zones you're going into, Lee, I would say even a few days leading up to it, start adjusting your bedtime routine for that time, just so you can adjust it. And your body starts to get a little bit used to it before you get there. Also, exposure to natural light. So especially in the mornings, if you get exposure to natural sunlight, that will help regulate your sleep-wake cycle a little bit. Like I said, limiting or avoiding alcohol or caffeine at night. I
don't think it's a chemical thing. I think it's a mental thing with him, though. I think it's behavioral. I don't think I think it's not that he can't fall asleep because he's not tired, because his rhythms are off. I think he can't fall asleep because he's got anxiety over it.
Well, thinking about worst case scenarios and getting yourself going down that little spiral and just focusing on worst case scenarios is certainly not helping. Yeah. Acknowledging that a worst case scenario can happen is one thing. But also think about, okay, so it's going to be worth me packing my bags, sitting in line, feeling cramped up, trying to sleep on this plane where I can't sleep. But when I get there, this is what I get to look forward to. So it's like you focus on that negative piece for too long a period of time. when I want you to kind of ricochet off of that and talk and think about all the positives that you're looking forward to. So I think, just dwelling is a big piece, Lee, that I might want to invite you to look at.
I'm going to think of Leslie on the plane when I'm sitting there, my pinched nerve, my shoulder aching, the kid screaming. I'll be like, oh, it'll be okay when I get there, Leslie said. It'll be shut that kid up.
You know what?
When I get there, it's going to be okay. Let me just look at the map. Where are we? 14 hours to go. It'll be okay when I get there. It'll be okay when I get there.
When you go for hold on. When are you going for the colonoscopy?
That's on the 7th of November.
Okay, so when you go, maybe you can steal a little extra propofol, and you can pull, pull a Michael Jackson on the
give
plane.
Me that needle.
Yeah.
Now I think of that. Now I think I'm going to end up like Michael Jackson. Now you got that in my head.
Lee, I've been through colonoscopies at least 2, if not 3 times before this, and I'm having the next one at the end of November. So.
Well, my wife said to me yesterday, well, because something happened. I think I was talking about that bodybuilder that passed away,
right,
when he was having the operation, and she goes, well, anytime you get put under and that, there's a chance you can die, even if like the colonoscopy. I'm like,
your wife must be a glutton for punishment. Now she's got to live with you for the next week.
That'll be like me. No, it's not a major operation. Like, like if you go for the heart thing, that chances are a lot higher when they do your heart. I could just see it now. I die with a fucking camera up my fucking ass. That'll be that'll be the story. How did Lee go? Oh,
Lee, I promise you, hold on. I promise you, if you do die on the colonoscopy, I will show all the anal footage of you. I'll get the camera footage. We'll put it up. We'll show it in completion. We will not cut or censor any of it. I promise.
Exactly. So even though he did pass away, this is proof that Lee wasn't full of shit. He was.
There you go. So you have a solace in understanding that we will not cut any of the. We will not censor any of your anal footage.
And you got to keep a straight face while doing that episode of.
Of course, I'm like, this is some of this footage may be disturbing to certain people. So
we lost another great one.
Speaking of footage that may be disturbing, did you see that Larry Wheels footage that he put up just recently?
What's he done now?
He was arm wrestling some guy and he broke the guy's arm. Did you see that? I'm trying to see if I can find it.
Why do people do this type of stuff?
It didn't even look like he was even really, doing anything terrible. I just, I don't know.
Well, sometimes, like you said, you get on the wrong angle and it just happens to snap or.
He didn't really look like he even pushed that hard. Now I know Larry is very strong, but
that guy could have just been the guy's tension, like fighting him.
Right. I think the guy was just,
Sometimes you got to get out and fracture because. Remember that picture of a guy squatting and his legs snapped back because he already had a little fracture in his shin bone and it snapped. Right. So you might have already had a weak bone there. And like I said, it looked like it got snapped in here. So it's like, oh.
Larry looked a lot bigger than him too. I did, and when you put that, Larry probably exerted, more force than.
I think too. How long, that constant pressure of how long you're holding it, fighting it. It's like fight, and your tension, then that little bit extra. It's like.
And you get a guy like Larry who's got that.
It looks like they must have heard a pop the way Larry went. It's like must have heard
he didn't even know what happened. It's like Superman. Superman doesn't know his own strength. He thinks he's not even doing anything, and then he just flicks his wrist, and the guy's arm breaks. That's what it looked like.
Is it just me? But when I used to think of Superman, and I see him kissing Lois, I'm thinking, making love, would he have to be careful or what?
It's true.
Well, wouldn't you imagine if he's like doing doggy and he goes thrust and she fucking goes flying across the room? You don't know how strong he is. Nobody's never thought of this before. Come on, it's like
superhero.
He's got her legs up and he's pounding her. Imagine one big Superman thrust where he poof, because Superman just squats down. When he squats down and he goes like that, he fucking flies into the air. So imagine a hip thrust.
Lee, you just gave me an idea. If you're worried about the plane going down, you just got to put your Superman costume on.
That's right. Maybe you should wear it underneath your outfit. Yeah.
Then when they find me, I'll just be there like, oh.
No,
Used to be a meme like that. Used to be a meme like something like that was I'll have to find it. There was a meme like when I'm dead or something, put me in a Superman costume and throw me out of a plane or something.
Well, can you imagine if they pull him over in customs in Australia and
And
they're
I got a
like, all right,
Superman.
take that shirt off. You're like, nah, I really don't want to. Nope, that shirt's
Yeah,
coming
open
off.
it up.
Open it up, and there's like, he's got his Superman costume under there. They'll be like,
What's that
this
for?
guy's out of his mind. You know?
What's that for? Just in case the plane goes down, I can just jump out and fly.
Yeah, is there any like kind of like where he can like in his mind like turn himself into like a superhero when he starts getting anxiety or something like that?
I would want you to actually start daydreaming that all your worst case scenarios and what you could do from a fantasy standpoint. I think that will add a little levity to the anxiety, and also keeping with the mindset of I like beating the odds. Be that person that's saying I'm going to beat the odds.
I've beat my meat before, but not the odds.
You're kind of saying this, you know, like what happened to that guy in the hotel room, you know, who OD'd. It's what are the chances, not to say it's impossible, but to say, can you be the person that beats the odds? How many people?
I am. Look at me. I'm 5'5", and look what I've accomplished in bodybuilding at the body weights that I've had.
Exactly.
There's another thing. You ever think of that too? When you get those assholes that say we're put on earth to do some things and this and that, and when you've done what you've been put on earth to do is when you go. And I'm thinking, fuck, well, I've had a good life. I've done this. I accomplished that in bodybuilding. I won championship racing. I've done what I put here to do. And I go, no, I got to be a famous actor. I just start making shit up.
There you go. That's right.
I got to do this. I've got to do other things. And then I've always said, even joking, my wife, how long are you going to live for? I said 100. I'm going to live till I'm 100. So when it's like 2072, then I'll be ready to go. I've got 100 in my head. So I can't really go to then now. I could have ailments along the way that when I finally get to 100, I could be like Steve Hawking.
You know what? And not even the fact that you are thinking about, hey, I need another reason to still be here because I don't want to be gone is all the reason you want to be here. Because there are people who, if they can't, like Boston Lloyd, if he couldn't work out at 100% and take the drugs he wanted, he didn't want to be here. There was no other, I better come up with something else because for him, there was nothing else. So the fact that you could even envision yourself doing something else tells you that it's not your time yet. So you got plenty, you're safe.
I just got to be here for all the haters that say I'm going to die, because I remember there was a few on Get Big that had me on the Deadpool list, and I was on the Deadpool list from when I was like 22 years old. He gets so bulked up, he's going to die.
That's my only reason for staying alive.
A few of those who said I was going to die have passed away themselves. So it's like,
yeah. That's my reason for staying alive, just to prove to everyone that I'm not going to die.
I know. I'll be like, when I'm 80, they'll be like, that fucker's still here? Fucking hell.
When you die, though, Lee, I mean, I'm going to have to do therapy for your haters because they're going to go into a deep depression.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Like, suicide will probably be like skyrocketing when I go. They'll be like,
oh my God,
who are we going to talk about now? What are we going to do?
Yeah. Yeah, but you know
what?
It'll
be like I'll be 90, 100, even at 100, if I die at 100, which I'm going to die at 100, so I get my letter from the king or whoever it is at the time.
Yeah.
I bet when I die at 100, you know, because I'm shitting my pants, I got no faculties left, I'm just a fucking, maybe got Alzheimer's and everything else, I bet somebody's still going to write, it was the steroids.
No, you know what will happen? I'll be, well, you're 51, so I'm 4 years old. So I'll be 104. Lee will be 99. He'll just turn 99. He'll be like, Dave, I can't sleep at night. I'm like, what now? You're 99 years old. You can't sleep. I said I was going to die at 100. I only got 1 year left. I have anxiety. I'm not going to be able to sleep the next year. I know next year that's it. I'm done.
I'm going to answer that with what I think will help Lee as well. Part of the anxiety, like you were saying, I mean, yes, you can do these little habits, but it is a mind thing. Meaning, I think what can actually help anxiety as another adjunct to this is having a renewed purpose in life. And it's not just to kind of show the haters that you're still around or give them a purpose, but you know, when you find that renewed purpose, your anxiety goes down because you're willing to fight a lot of the negative thoughts. both from other people as well as within yourself, because your thoughts are going to be more focused on the journey and your destination. As far as leaving that another mark in the world, you're not done yet, Lee. I'm just saying, you're not done.
That's right, haters. I'm not done yet. And like I said, it's good now because with a poll on Jim, I'll have, like I said, coming over there a bit more gives me stuff to do. Because, like, even though I'm busy here, I'm busy doing little things. I don't really have one thing to focus on. I'm just busy doing daily life stuff. But then if I've got something like that where I'm coming over there to do videos at the gym and other stuff and then see friends while I'm there, that makes a good difference to me.
Yeah. The good thing is if you're going to go over there, you could make some side trips too. You could always come down here and visit with us.
Well, that's what I plan on doing while I'm there. It's like, I originally planned in March I was going to go to Vegas for a week and LA for a week and just hang out and do that. But now I'm going to the Arnold, and then there maybe I'll try and fit in a bit more while I'm there, because like I said, once I'm there, you want to do it, because going back to Australia and coming back, like I said, it's a long trip. So
too much, yeah.
Maybe Jimmy and I will shoot down to the studio while I'm there.
You should get Jimmy, and you guys should drive down to Florida.
Yeah, road trip.
What a trip that would be. Holy mackerel. They would drive each other nuts, probably.
What could possibly go wrong? When I was in the car with Jimmy the other day, Jimmy had the fucking heater on that hot. I was fucking dying. I said, who uses the car heater? He's got the heater blasting.
He's Italian. The old Italian men love the heat. They have to blast it.
My whole life, I never turn a car heater on. It's just too stuffy.
My father was the same way. My father would run the heater while the air conditioning was on in the summer in his bedroom. The heat would be 105 degrees in his room. I'm telling you, Jimmy's a typical old Italian guy.
If you guys do travel by car, that could be a bunch of episodes. What could?
I would send a videographer with them for sure to videotape that. Are you kidding me?
National Lampoons would have nothing on us.
No, if you put Valentino in the car, they would be working out at like 2 a.m. Greg would be like, "All right, it's time to work out. We got to find a gym. It's open 24 hours."
How long's the drive from
Virginia here? Where are we going to get a gym?
How long's the drive from there to Florida? A couple of days, is it? Or?
No, if you do it straight, it's like you could do it in 18 to 20 hours. You know,
so just like if we stopped, it'd be a 2-day trip. Would be
2-day trip. Yeah.
That'd be fun.
You can have pasta from 87.
And you could stop at Romano's halfway. You could stop at his house.
And we could do live on YouTube, and the tips we could use for fuel money if you give it to us. We can maybe buy some Twizzlers, Dave.
Yeah, let's do a live.
We're going to start a GoFundMe for the Jimmy and Lee trip.
Yeah, you should definitely stop at John's house there. That would be classic, stories for sure. And he's got a big house, so you guys could definitely,
we go sit by the river where he made that nice little rock.
That's right.
By the river.
Yeah. You might actually even get a good night's sleep there because it's so serene. And he's got dogs.
Well, like I said, when I got to the guy's place, I did have a good night's sleep. I think, like I said, even just like I said, being around people, like I said, just talking, it keeps your mind off it. Because when you sit there in a hotel room by yourself and you got that shitty feeling of clammy skin and it's like, and then it's like the adrenaline feeling on top of that. But then it goes away a bit, and you're like, oh, it's going away. It's going away. You're not good alone. That's what it is. When you travel, I think you need to stay with people. I used to love living alone. Like being alone used to be great. Like come home and no one's here. Just everything's in the right place where it used to be. And
but you always were at the gym with people, so that really doesn't count. When you're on vacation,
I used to hate it then too. I used to that's probably why I used to go back to the gym early in the morning, because going to Gold, you'd be there in the morning, you'd go back at night, the firehouse, and then sometimes when you did go home by yourself, you're like, oh, now I'm all alone. Quick, I'll go to bed and sleep so I can get up early the next day and go back to the gym again.
That's why he goes to bed so early, Leslie.
Yes, I understand.
Absolutely why he does. No, but I'm saying if you come to the States, what you should do is you should have Jimmy meet you, and you should just stay in a hotel room with him. Get a bigger room, and you guys could share a room like the Odd Couple, like Felix and Oscar. And
I brought that up when I was there last time. Last time I was there not long ago, Jimmy, where I said I still haven't recovered from when I got us the nice room in Vegas. You're meant to come out and spend the time with me, and you didn't show up.
Oh, make sure you have a roommate for the Arnold. We'll make sure someone's in the room with you. Because if he's like Aceto, Chris Aceto would come to my room and he's like, he'll just want to lay on the couch and sleep while I'm talking and telling stories or editing video or something like that. I'm like, Chris, he goes, nah. I said, don't you have a room? He goes, nah, I'd rather just sleep on your couch. I'm like, all right. He just wants to hang out, and tell stories and shit. So that's Lee.
It was like when I was in doing the European tour that time, and we got to the English show, and eating a bit of junk now, hold a little bit of water. So Sean Davies from England's like, here's a Lasix, Lee. I said, how much is it? He goes, 10 milligram. I said, okay. I'm in the room. All of a sudden, the muscles are twitching, the skin's crawling. I'm feeling fucking terrible. I call his room. I say, what was that you give me? I feel like shit now. It's like the weird, when you start getting those little cramps under the skin.
Yeah.
He goes, let me check. He goes, oh, that was a 25 milligram I give you, not a 10. I'm like, I said, right. So I start raiding the little bar fridge. I'm getting the peanuts out. I'm getting fucking chips out. And then I said, I'm coming to your room. So I went into his room and I slept on the couch all night. I said, if I'm fucking dying, you're going to be here to fucking... Yeah.
That's typical Lee, though. Thought he was going to die from a 25 milligram Lasix. Yeah.
Oh, but the feeling from it, I've never used them since. I don't know how people could take those Lasix. They're fucking terrible. Oh,
well, you should have seen how much Lasix they pumped into me after I had that heart surgery. They give you IV Lasix to get rid of all the water.
My grandmother, as she got older, held a lot of fluid, and that's what they give her Lasix. But of course, they had on them for so long, it fucked their kidneys up being on Lasix for so many years. Yep. So
you don't want to take Lasix on a regular basis now.
No, but it was terrible. Like, I can see why when Romano gave Gillette that fucking 40 milligram shot.
with insulin too, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember that on the stage when he cramped up and they had to carry him off. And
I remember. My friend was the doctor there, Dr. Mike. He was backstage.
He was always used to be backstage, yeah.
And
but the worst thing was that was hard to compete then too, because everyone's still standing on stage and you're like this, but then I look over there and you can see him working on Paul on the table. It's that horrible feeling of you see him working on Paul and you still got to stand out there and try and compete. It was like a shit feeling.
Thank God they had him there, because if he wasn't there, Paul probably would have died.
Yeah. He must have been close because, like he said, he just froze up.
They put an IV bag right into him, so But but it's
funny when I do talk about the anxiety. It's amazing how so many other people have it. Then when you talk about the feelings you get and that, it's like bodybuilding almost. When you diet for shows, people think, does this only happen to me? Then when you talk to other people, like, oh, I'm not the only one. So when you're talking about the anxiety and the clammy feeling and this or that or different things that happen when you experience it, they're like, really? I get that too. Oh, thank God, it's not just me.
Believe me.
What I want to say is, yes, we're all fucked up.
Yeah. More people get it than anyone, but you definitely. I think you have definitely travel anxiety because you don't like to be taken out of your natural environment. You have this comfort zone that you live in, and that when you're out of that, you start creating scenarios that don't exist in your brain.
Well, that's why I'm getting the colonoscopy, because sometimes my stomach's a bit and then sometimes I might go to the bathroom 4 times a day. You could have loose stools and normal stools. So I'm thinking, it could be bowel cancer or something. But in my mind, and I'm thinking, Lee, it's just the fucking shit food you eat.
I don't discourage you because I think diagnostic tests are good. This way, at least in your mind, you're validated that you don't have anything wrong with you.
Well, even I might go get checked for celiac too, because then I'm thinking, because I eat all types of foods, fat foods and shit. So I'm thinking, maybe it's just your diet sometimes, Lee, because you eat like shit.
You eat some crappy food at night, especially with the ice cream. How do you eat ice cream? I thought you said you can't digest lactose.
I get the lactose-free ice cream, Dave.
Which if you read the first ingredient on the lactose-free ice cream, it's milk, basically.
It doesn't matter. And then I cover it in that Ice Magic hard chocolate shell.
You know why you're going to live you know why you're going to live to 100? Because you really are very childlike by nature. Yeah. And I think that childlike aspect of yourself is what's going to keep you living for a very long time.
My wife laughs because I got this cat that I saved, and she's so fat now because everything I eat, the cat eats. So I'm having ice cream and that, give it to the cat. I'm eating potato chips. Oh, she fucking loves potato chips. Everything I have, and the cat's like, my wife's like, will you stop feeding the cat?
Yeah, and then you're gonna have guilt if the cat dies of a heart attack because you'll say, I killed it. I fed it all this shit.
She died happy eating chips.
There you go.
Leslie,
final words on the Lee Priest, this whole story here.
At some point, we're gonna die. It'd be nice to die on our own terms.
Speak for yourself. I'm immortal.
I think you should give Lee your phone number so that when he travels, he can just call you from now on.
Lee, definitely. Like, I'm gonna give you my phone number, and you contact
She'll
me.
be like, oh fuck, Dave, he's called again. He's called.
It's gonna be like that movie. What about Bob? He's gonna be like, oh, why did I give him my phone number? Oh no.
Lee, why are you naked, laying on the bed, talking to me? You
Lee
pushed
might
the wrong
actually
one.
call me.
You didn't
Lee
push the
doesn't
phone
call me,
symbol.
so, I mean,
You pushed.
might actually.
You pushed. You'd be like, you pushed the FaceTime, Lee. I can see you. Put some clothes on.
Why is your penis tied to the coffee table, Lee?
Blood. It's like that. Oh, it's that training. What's that training where they restrict the blood flow? It's like
occlusion. No, well, I took some cocaine and I figured I might jump out the window. So I figured if I tied my penis to the coffee table, I wouldn't be able to. So it's
exactly
a safety thing.
The window only opens this far, so the coffee table will save me. Unless someone walks past the Marriott and sees the naked guy hanging out the window by his cock, and the coffee table just stopping him. Imagine dangling from your cock from the window. Oh, oh. They were like, wow, he's got a strong.
The cavern jack saved him. If he didn't inject the cavern jack, his penis wouldn't have been able to hold him that long.
Yeah, wow, his penis is very strong, supporting all that body weight. And then by the time they save me, I'll be like a couple of inches longer.
And then you'll have 1,000 bodybuilders trying to copy you now.
Oh no, they'll be like, you know what saved you, Lee? Circumcision, because the shoelace got caught under the helmet. It didn't just slide off. Good thing we can laugh about my tragedies, Dave.
Yeah, your tragic circumstances. The great thing, Lee, if there's a moral to this whole story, the great thing is that there's nothing freaking wrong with you. At the end of the day, it's all right here.
That's debatable. That's debatable.
Yeah, but it's all right in your brain. There's nothing physically wrong with you. So you're very lucky in that sense. You're healthy as a horse. You're very well liked. You make good money. You just you get some.
I would
screws not maybe not
handed those tips over. If you made those tips over, I'll be making.
Make sure you send plenty of tips to the show. Lee needs all the support he can get, and I promise I won't spend it all in one place.
I needed to buy more melatonin. And Greg was as you said.
Why didn't you tell me? I would have sent you Somalize. I mean, that would have been an easy solution right there.
Well, sometimes you know that feeling you get from the GABA.
Yeah.
It's almost like that feeling too when I got the anxiety. It's just like
yeah, but that only lasts like 30 seconds. The tingle.
It doesn't matter. I didn't want to feel it.
Oh.
Already. But Greg was shocked though when I did show him that penis picture when I had to get it drained and I put Leslie's screensaver on his phone.
Yeah, when Greg tells you someone else was able to traumatize him, you know that person is.
Well, it was the picture of it like that, and there was blood everywhere, the needle hanging out the side of it. He's like,
I think there's not many things that have shocked Greg in his life. I think that actually put him in shock.
I said, and you thought your documentary was good. I said, wait till you see mine. The guys whose cock exploded. It's like, you know, he had the arms that exploded. I'm having the cock that exploded.
Oh my God!
This is the perfect segue into what you asked me, Dave, as far as words for Lee. Use that creativity. So instead of the creativity to create the anxiety, use the creativity to basically address it. Like I said, do that fantasy. What would you do if the plane went down? What would you do if all those worst case scenarios? And be creative in your mind. It doesn't matter how ridiculous it is. When you can have some type of game plan, it's not to say you're going to necessarily implement it. That can help manage those thoughts a little bit because you see how ridiculous those thoughts are in the first place. And
so you're saying my thoughts of and slashing throats on the way down is ridiculous?
It's a thought. There's a difference between thought and execution.
What's wrong with no? If it's going down, those thoughts are going to become fucking reality. Trust me. I'll be clawing my way to anyone on the plane that I can, even if it's in a steep dive. I know the G forces will be hard to claw along the floor.
You know what'll happen, Leslie? They'll say the plane's going down. Lee will finally fall asleep.
Yeah.
Probably.
Like, oh, thank God, peace.
Exactly.
Thank God it's over. 5 hours. Now I can sleep, you know, and you fall right asleep.
Like, what a rush.
They'll be like, the plane crashed. There was one survivor.
Me.
Lee Priest, they said he fell asleep before the plane. He was asleep. He rolled with the plane, and he somehow survived the plane crash.
I've actually thought about that. I've actually thought about where you get those people who survive. If this plane goes down, as Leslie says, I start having these scenarios. I'm going to be that one survivor, and I'm going to be on all the TV shows. They're going to say, "How'd you do it? How'd you do it?" I'll be like, "I'm fucking Superman." What do you expect? It's like I start playing those silly interviews in my head. That how did you survive?
That's
then I'm
exactly
thinking,
what I'm talking about. Yes.
I'll be like, then I think if I go into the toilet and I pack the toilet with like the life vest to cushion me, I can fucking. Well, you know, if you put all those life vests in the toilet for cushioning and you fucking crash, it could take away the impact.
I don't think so. I think the plane would go.
No, you don't know, Dave. Don't fucking ruin my
Dave,
fantasy.
let him be creative.
That's right. Okay, all right. I'm gonna let you be creative. Well,
I'll get 3 fat ladies and the life vest in the toilet with me.
There you go. Like Jimmy said when he went to the dentist, when she laid the fat lady who had a breast on his face, he couldn't breathe.
Right.
See, that's why you and Jimmy get along so well, because you have all these unusual things happen to you that don't happen to normal people. That's pretty much
what's normal. What's a normal person these days?
I don't know. That's true.
Normal's very boring. It's overrated.
Yeah. Look at Leslie. She's going for a 5th or 4th colonoscopy.
There you go. You got to get checked out.
Just find someone who's into anal sex, Leslie. It'd probably be more fun than just going to the doctors.
I'm sure pretty soon you'll be able to put a camera on the tip of your penis, and probably you'll be able to film all that, on your iPhone.
Well, I got that camera thing here. I could strap to it.
There
the
you
one
go.
you put the brains. It's got the camera. And
it's a little big though. We need like a little nano camera you can put right in the tip of your penis, and this way you can see it on the app while you're having sex. You can watch the app.
And see, like, oh, look, there's the fallopian tube. There's the such and such. Hold on. After you finish coming in, you go, I got some bad news. And they say, what does it say? I just saw inside you got cervical cancer.
That would be a real bummer. Yeah, that would be a joy.
Well, it's my duty of care. If I've seen it on the dick cam, then I've got to report to her that.
Well, Lee, you're hopelessly going to live forever, and hopefully we helped fix your sleep problem for your next trip.
Not your mate.
And where you go to Italy? You said. Where's your little show?
He's part of my cardinal outfit. Look, I'll put it on.
You look like Pinocchio with that thing on.
I got a.
Final words for Lee Priest, Leslie. Here you go. You get the last word today.
Lee, be Superman. Be creative. Be safe, and don't dwell. And call me when needed.
No.
Can't get better advice than that, Lee. And got Leslie's. Now you got the cell phone, Leslie.
But now give it a week or two, and I'll go to call it. This number is no longer in service.